Good morning, Foxes. How the devil are you today? How has your weekend been so far? Well, it didn't start very well, did it? We're going to be discussing with Jamie Thorpe, as seen on TV, BT Sports, Talk Sport. He writes for the FOXES as well. We're going to be discussing the Leeds game, where it went wrong, where we can improve things, how well we're still doing. But you know what time it is? It's Sunday. It's 10 a.m. It's time for the famous FOXES Aftermath Show, run by the fans, for you fans out there. And you know what? Your opinion matters. So get them comments in now. Let's get going. It's kickoff time. Come on, you Foxes.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content, like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live. Thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Follow Blinds, Pucker Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hologram, Take Me, Nubian Co, and the Foxes Arms and Rainbows. We are live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Graphics, absolutely fantastic. Them graphics were. I hope you're well. I hope you're good. We're going to be discussing, like I say, with Jamie Thorpe. He's been on before with us, big Leicester fan. What went wrong with the Leeds game, what we can do to improve, and how things can go. So on that note, I'm going to bring Jamie in. Let's bring him in. Morning, Jamie. How are you, pal?
Good morning. Very well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm good. Right. We'll start with it straight away. Where did it go wrong for us on Friday night, pal?
I always try and take things a little bit more level, especially a little bit after the game, and try and take my very clear FOXES bias out of the picture. And actually, I was probably one of the few that came away not quite as downhearted as some. I think that there was a lot of talk after the game. Leicester were woeful. They were played off the park. We got everything wrong. And I'm just not sure that was the case. I think that we came up against a team that is arguably the most similar to ours in terms of their playing squad. They've got a lot of players in there that are clearly in the wrong league. And the way they played, they pressed very high. They threw us off our game a little bit. But ultimately, they've created a couple of chances and taken theirs. We created a couple of chances and didn't take ours. So really what it comes down to is the fact that they were able to have that clinical edge when it really mattered. If you think that we had Fatu who hit the bar, Mellier's pulled off an unbelievable save at the end from that Dewsbury Hall header. That's proper echoes of Seaman way back when, where he's just clawed it out the corner. And I think you just...
header.
That's exactly what I mean. I'm glad that you can remember the specifics. But it's just come down to one of those moments where on another day that's gone another way. But I think if you had to pinpoint exactly where we got it wrong or where we struggled, I don't really want to put more pressure on him because I think he struggled in the start of the season. But I think Cassidy was a little bit found out, especially in the second half. I thought he was okay in the first half. He was sort of managing to link the play up. But Kamara got to grips with him really tightly and shut him off, was pressuring him. And I think he struggled. And then we didn't have that outlet that we normally have. We struggled to get it to the wingers. When we did, they were often doubled up on. And in the second half, we struggled to get by a packed Leeds 11. But overall, I think that we've got to hope. I think what I'm more focused on is the reaction in the next game and how they respond to a loss, as opposed to melting down over the result.
Yeah, I mean, in our WhatsApp group, we had not a heated exchange, did we? But on Friday night, straight up, I think I'm a bit emotional straight after the game, and you're a little bit more level-headed. There was a couple of comments of relax and that. But then when I thought about it Saturday morning, I probably thought, I probably do need to just rein it in a little bit. It it wasn't that bad a performance. I think I was more disappointed the way we played because for me, being a top of the league table, we need to be creating more chances. And I think we actually relied too much on our wingers in the whole game, particularly in the first half. And then we never made the chances through the middle. And I think that's why Jamie Vardy looked so ineffective to me on Friday night. And he's just out the game a lot.
Yeah, and I completely understand where you're coming from. I think that I get that as well. You want to see, especially at home, you want to see Leicester creating chances and attacking, forcing the opposition to change their game plan, where in reality, Leeds made it so that we had to try and alter how we were playing, which is why I think you saw Vardy and Iheanacho essentially operating as a midfielder to try and get by that three that Leeds had. Ampadu was screening Dewsbury Hall ever so well. Kamara cut off Cassidy. And then I think he brought him in to try and make another man. But the problem is, as you said, is that if we did get by, your wingers are there looking up to cross and there's no one in the box. So I can understand where you're coming from. I think, though, we've got to probably have a bit of introspection and look at, are we actually one of the best attacking sides in the league? Because I think in reality, we're probably not. We're probably, we're a good side. We can score goals. But I don't think we're often going to run away with games 5-4, 5-6, 6-0. I think we'll win a lot of games 1-2, score late when they tire. But this system is not set up to create chance after chance after chance, which I can understand because I know I sit next to my dad at home games, and he gets very frustrated with the style of play. He's
one of these of get it forward shouts.
No, he's slightly more tempered than that, but he's more like, he's like, I get it, I understand what he's trying to do. I'm just not that excited by it, which is a very valid criticism. I think. I think he's not saying he's got a problem with it. He's not trying to alter. He's just like, it's just not that exciting to watch, which is probably close to the truth.
Yeah, I see. Most of you know in the chat that I've got a bar in Spain and that I have all the Leicester games on. And since we finished 2 weeks ago, I've been able to actually sit down the Swansea, Sunderland, QPR and Leeds game and actually watch the whole game from start to finish without someone saying, can I have another pint? Can I have this? Blah, blah, blah. So I've been able to sit down and watch it. And to start off with, I was finding it boring when I was watching it at the bar. But now I'm sitting at home. Yes, it is boring in parts, but I can see what he's trying to do, how he's trying to make gaps by bringing them to press high and then us to try and find the gaps through the middle, through winks and stuff. So I can actually see it now, as where before I wasn't really watching it properly. And I think that's where my frustration was coming from. But I still find it a little bit boring watching it. It's a bit Brendan Rodgers-esque. There's still quite a bit of tippy-tappy football at the back. And that's the only problem I'm having with it. Even though we're winning 13 out of 15, I think is absolutely fantastic. Not many teams have, I think, what was it, Bristol City, generations in our living lifetime, no one's ever done it before. But I just find it that a little bit boring, this tippy-tappy football. Just need to go through the middle a bit more. But I think that's what you said there. That's why we're going through the wingers. But if you two number 8s and your strikers not getting into the box, that's what's going to cause the problem, isn't it, Jamie?
Yeah, and I think there were moments where we did get in at them. I mean, Dewsbury Hall had a couple of those runs where, he's running at the back four with the options ahead of him. Mavadidi in the first half and Fatu were beating their men almost every single time. And you thought that, you had those, it's easy to forget. It's like you look at the stats, we've only had the 2 shots on target in the 90 minutes. That's appalling. But you had those moments where we've got right to the byline and the cross has come in and missed a man by a couple of yards or even a few inches at times, and those things don't get recorded in the stats. But you've got to try and remember the momentum of the game for large portions of it was very much with Leicester, and they weren't far off converting those into chances. It's just those moments of composure which we were not quite as good at this time. But on other occasions, we've been banging at the races and every chance has rained down on the goal. So I'll just take it with a pinch of salt and just think that. Because we've also got to remember, we're not actually that far into the season. There's so many games to go. Maresca's got a big job on his hands to completely reinvent the wheel, really, in terms of how we play and the style and the players coming through. They're not 100% there yet. You can see it. I mean, Cassidy spent half his game getting shouted at by Winks and Vardy. They were not, especially out of possession. He wasn't in the right place at 70% of the time. So the players are getting there, and I think that it'll be an interesting January. I'd imagine that there'll be a couple of fairly big incomings in terms of the system.
Yeah, I asked we had Charlie Carmichael on last week. I'm not sure whether you know him or not.
Yeah, I like Charlie.
Yeah, he's good. He's pretty damn good. And I asked him the same question, and I says, being a Leicester fan, did you think we'd be in this situation of winning 13 out of 15, or did you think it was going to be a slow rebuild and struggle, and not struggle, but probably be mid-table-ish? Because I wasn't sure which way it was going to be. I kept saying tongue-in-cheek to people at the bar, yeah, we're going to win it without losing a game. I didn't really mean it. I've nearly got my way. We're only two games off from winning it without losing a game. Well, what way did you think it was going to go?
Probably somewhere in between the two. I thought that we'd be, sort of sat in the playoff spaces, maybe a couple of shock results against us, but in reality, expected us to keep a bit of momentum. I mean, just purely based on the squad that we've got, as much as anything. But I think what I'm most pleased about is the fact that I feel like Leicester have got an identity again. Morning, Cuth. Nice to tune in.
I've got to say, mate, it was good mate of yours, if he knows your nickname.
Yeah, he's a good lad. He was at the game with me, and he was slightly more enthusiastic about it than I was. He was the positive vibe that I needed, I think, after the game. But yeah, I think that I think we've got a bit of identity about us again, and we know what we're doing, and it's quite clear what he's trying to bring in. It's obvious how we're going to approach games now, and I think that is something we lacked under Rodgers, especially in the last year. We didn't really know what we were, who we're about, what our style was. But I think it's very clear now what he's trying to build and what he's trying to do.
Yeah, you mentioned about transfer window and bringing people in. I'm not sure you actually meant this person, but Neil's asking, we are missing a creative number 10 and maybe looking to bring someone in January. Is that what you think? Do you think we need a creative number 10?
Yeah, he's not a million miles away. I think he
play in the Championship.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the system we play at the minute is 2 8s rather than a pure 10 that is only charged with making things happen, sort of like the Maddison of old. I think that you'll probably have more of a midfielder that's able to get his foot on the ball and use it a bit better. Someone that is able to play with his back to the opposition as well, turn around the corner, sort of how Winks does it, but a bit more advanced. So I think that we've missed Ndidi from that point of view, as Rudy's just pointed out. I think that he's his dynamism, as much as anything, has been really missed. I mean, he's one of those. Even if he makes a mistake, he's getting back to that point where he'll lose the ball and then go and get it back again. We're seeing the Ndidi of a few years ago, and we've missed that presence as much as anything. I still think that
looks like a new signing, though, isn't he? The way he's playing this number 8 role instead of a defensive midfielder. He came as a defensive midfielder, and he was probably the best defensive midfielder for a couple of years. And then it seemed like Brendan Rodgers drained the life out of him. And now Enzo's come in and given him a new lease of life. And I think it's fantastic the way he's playing.
Yeah, I think that when he was at his pomp, he was in the conversation with one of the best defensive midfielders in Europe, and I don't think that's an exaggeration to say. I think he wasn't up there in the top 5. He had that injury, which I think hit him as well. And yeah, you're right. He's very much a confidence player, I think, is what we've learned. When things are going for him, I never thought I'd see the day where he chopped back inside and did a defender and slotted it into the far corner. I mean, I never thought I'd see that anyway.
Southampton, yeah.
I mean, that was an unbelievable transformation. It's like he's a player possessed. So I think that we'll miss that. It's a shame that obviously we'll lose him over the African Cup of Nations. So they will definitely need someone back in the squad. I would wonder if they'd be looking at Brooke, if they can get him fit. Obviously, I'm not 100% sure where the status with his injury is, because he would fit that mold perfectly. That's his style of play. He'd be great.
I wonder from QPR, he looked good against us, didn't he? Char from QPR, he's a pretty decent number 10.
He did, yeah. He's been the mould, and I know they were linked with him in the summer, so he'd be the sort of player they'd be looking for. I mean, QPR will be desperate to hold on to him. They need to keep everyone they can get at the moment, but it's clear that that's the area where we're lacking. I think that they'll be looking at Doyle's injury as well, because the role that he was playing in was very important, and I think we missed him as well. But that side, I think the squad's looking good. The squad's looking strong, and really we've just got to retain that positivity and keep going into the next game.
I'm trying to be positive, Jamie. I am trying to be positive, but I just straight after the game I got a little bit
I know. Fine.
The last time that we lost to Hull, we went on a 9-game winning run. What do you think? I mean, you've interacted with the players and that. What do you think it's going to be like for the players now, and what's got into their heads, and what they'll be thinking tomorrow morning at training, or even this morning at training? Tomorrow morning, won't it?
Well, if Maresca's anything like Guardiola, and we're constantly hearing those comparisons, I can imagine that this will be used as a fire underneath them. I mean, you saw the reaction at full time. Leeds' entire bench emptied onto the pitch. And whereas the Leicester players didn't look absolutely desolate, you could see that they were clearly extremely unhappy to have lost that game. But the mentality of previous seasons, I'd have been slightly concerned that this would cause a spiral. But on this occasion, I'm not feeling that at all. I think that this will give them a bit of a kick. I think there's been obviously a huge amount of positivity written about them. And I'm not saying that that's in any way got into their heads. I don't believe that for a second. But I'd imagine that this will be used as an opportunity to learn a few lessons about how to react under pressure when things aren't going your way. And I would probably think that our opponents in the next 3 or 4 games will be looking at that result and going, nah, that's a shame. They'll be expecting a reaction, as am I.
Yeah. Talking of that, I'm not sure. I haven't heard this, but Locks, one of the commentators, says, "What did Jamie think to Phil Hayes' verdict of the match?" And Locks thought it was bullshit. Now I've not heard this, so I don't know what he said.
So he's referring to Phil Hay, who's a writer for The Athletic, who covers Leeds games. And I can't remember the exact wording that he used, but I think he said something along the lines of Leicester couldn't live with Leeds, and basically implied that we were lucky to just lost it 1-0, and that on another day it could have gone on and been 3 or 4. And I think I shared this just in utter disbelief at what I was reading, because it certainly wasn't the game that I watched. I think that's... I can only imagine that is written with some white tinted glasses on it. They were in no danger of running away with the game at any given point. And I know that's easy to say that with and be accused of being biased the other way. But I mean, it's not like they were raining chance after chance. Hermansen had the one save to make of any note. I didn't see that game at all. I think he was baiting for a few reactions, shall we say, and I think I was silly enough to give him one.
Big old clickbait, do you think it was, and you fell for it?
A little bit.
I mean, on Friday night, defensively, we've looked good, and we looked good all season. There wasn't much worry. I know they did a lot of counter-attacking and the press, but it's again that we have a slow start in the second half. And there was a stat that I'm quite surprised about this. It's the worst Leicester are the worst for the first 15 minutes of the second half. They've only scored 1, but conceded 3. And Leeds, I know that doesn't sound a lot, but that's the worst in the league. Leeds had 6 of their shots out of their 11 shots in that 15 minutes. I know the next half an hour we're 16-0 up in the 60 to 90. Why do you think we have a slow start? Why do you think it's slow in the second half? Normally, you're going to be coming out firing. And I don't understand it, really.
Yeah, I'm not sure. This seems to be a problem we've had for a few years. I mean, I don't know how many times I've been sat, stood in the having a drink at half time with my brother-in-law who comes down with us, and then we're saying, what we've got to do in the second half, and then about 2 minutes in, you're going, well, that was a complete waste of time. We've conceded already. Things have changed. Things have changed almost immediately. I don't know is the honest answer. I think that they've just got to get themselves prepared for. I mean, whether other teams are coming out harder, I think that they realise that they are going to have a rough time in the last 20 minutes of games because of the way we play, and whether they're sort of gambling on, right, go all at it first 15, big energy, drain the tank a bit, try and get that goal so that then we can sit back. I don't know. I'd imagine that comes into their thinking, because there's such a theme with us, basically teams looking absolutely exhausted in the last 15 minutes against us because they've been chasing shadows for a long period of the game, which is a bit attritional, and goes back to your point of not being that exciting. But I don't know whether that's coming into their thinking. If they're going, we're not going to be able to do this at the end, we've got to do it now, perhaps. We've got to learn to live with that a bit better.
Well, yeah, I think we've got to. It's something that Enzo's got to look at and maybe build on it somehow to get him to, I don't know. Like I say, I've never been good enough to be a manager. That's why I only talk about it. And get abused for what I say. But going on to the Middlesbrough game, that's in the past. The old mantra of, we take one game at a time. We've gone past the Leeds game, Middlesbrough. There was a slight change of plan. They brought Chowdhury on, put him at right back and move Ricky P into the Cassidy role for about the last 15, 20 minutes, was it? I think it was. I can't remember the time of the sub. And it looked a lot better with Ricky P there because he's got quite decent skills on the board. He's pretty pacey. Do you think that's a way forward of moving Ricky P into that number 8 while Pratt and Ndidi are out?
Yeah, I think that ticked 2 boxes for me because I thought Chowdhury against Somerville was what we needed. I think that covering tackle that he put in towards the end of the game, he hooks his back leg round and gets him on the break. That's vintage Chowdhury, and also he's the sort of player that puts a big tackle on like that, and then suddenly it lifts the crowd, as your commenters just pointed out. It gives you a bit of impetus. But yeah, Pereira had dealt with Somerville ever so well. I think he's looking some way back to his best in defensively, certainly. But you're right, he's got that skill set where he's able to receive it, a couple of quick 1-2s, and he's away, which is what we were lacking to break down that midfield. So I think it was a good idea. I'd imagine it's driven more by necessity than choice, though. I think that he would have much preferred to be able to bring a Pratt or an Ndidi off the bench. But I think he's making the most of his squad and not unhappy to try new things, and I'm all for that. I think it's good to see it. So good to see Ricardo getting through full 90s and looking sharp again, and long may that continue.
He is. I think a lot of Leicester fans were a bit worried because he's had a few injuries over the last few years, hasn't he? And he was like made of glass the last couple of years. But this year, I'm not sure of his figures, but he seems to be involved. I think he started 12 out of the 15 games, something like that, maybe even more than that, maybe 14 out. I'm not sure. But it's proved that he's coming back to his full fitness. And we are seeing the best out of Ricky P now, which I think, to be honest, Ricky P would be my man of the match, I think, on Friday night. I don't think anybody would have beaten Ricky P on Friday night. As for man of the match.
Not over the full 90, certainly. And I think he's a big influence off the pitch as well in terms of he's member of the leadership group. We've seen him as captain a few times this year as well. And I think he's an influential character that players like and get round. So, yeah, I think it's the more we can keep him fit, the better.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about Middlesbrough then? What changes do you think to the team? I think Nacho's got to come in for Vardy for that different kind of option up top. And I think Casey McAteer's got to come in. And I was quite surprised that he didn't come on for Cassidy when we needed a goal on Friday night. Because I'm so used to doing the show straight after the game the day after. I keep saying yesterday. I'm surprised. I think McAteer might come into the fold on Saturday.
Yes. Me and myself and Joe, who's commented a couple of times, we were discussing this after, and we just assumed that he wasn't back to full fitness. I can't think of any other reason why you wouldn't bring him on, especially in a game where we need a bit more of a direct impetus and a player like that. And he's, fits the bill. I'd imagine if he's fit, you'll see him at some point. If it was me, I wouldn't change the starting wingers heading into the game. I think that, especially in the first half, they were both excellent, and continuity is going to be really important for both of them. So if they're feeling fresh, I'd imagine they'll start. The change which I would possibly expect to see would be at centre back. Surprisingly, I think that Vestergaard's reinvention has been incredible. I never, if you said to me a year ago, in next season they'll be singing Vestergaard's name in the stands, I'd have looked at you like you'd gone mad. But he's done ever so well. And I think defensively he did well against Leeds. He's not a quick player, and they had some very, very quick players, and he coped with them pretty well. What he wasn't quite as sharp with was his use of the ball. And I think when you've got a player such as Connie Cody sat on the bench, needs some games, this presents a bit of an opportunity to get him on the pitch. So it wouldn't surprise me if he came in and started at centre half alongside Whitefast. But other than that, the team more or less picks itself. I'd agree with your change up front. Nacho comes in, midfield 3 is going to be the same because, well, they haven't really got any other option at this point, and that is our best 3. So go again. And I can't, result-wise, I don't like to predict it, but it'll be a different game. We're facing a different test to Leeds, and it'll be, they're a good side. They've done well. They've recovered ever so well after their start, but they lost last game, I think, and they'll be looking to bounce back as well.
Middlesbrough drew yesterday.
Oh, sorry, I take it back then. I got that one wrong.
3-3. They drew 3-3 with.
Oh, right.
With Plymouth. They drew 3-3 with Plymouth.
Well, there you go. I took a Saturday off to go to see Disney on Ice of all things with my little boy. So I missed the scores. But yeah, either way, we know what they're about. They're a good side. They're well coached under Carrick, but you've just got to think Leicester are favourites again. I think you've got to put us in the driving seat for that game, and I think Middlesbrough, it's up to them to try and get something out of the game as opposed to and make us change how we play.
So I didn't quite catch it. I know you said you didn't really want to give a score line, but do you think we're going to go up there and get something, or are we going to come away with a point? Because I know during the Premier League, I kept saying, win your home games, draw your away games, 4 points. But we're on this such a good run away from home, where is it 7 on the bounce now? We've won away from home. I think it was 6 or 7. 7 on the bounce. We've got to keep it going. Are we going to be disappointed if we only come away with a draw?
You'd be disappointed. I think that we're not at the stage where we say we need to win. We don't have to win. We certainly don't. I think we can afford to lose, into double figures games for the rest of the season. But I think that I would prefer is to keep the momentum, as you say, especially arrest it after a loss, which can sometimes have a bit of an impact. So they'll want to go in and make. We've been ever so good away from home. We're getting to that point again where we're very happy just to turn up and ruin everyone's day. Fat people at home, it's a big game. Leicester coming into town, especially with how we're doing. They're always up for it, and our fans away are excellent and seem very happy to turn up and say, actually, no, here's 3 points going back to Leicester. See you next time. So that's the mentality that we've got to have. We've got to go and play on the front foot and make things happen. And I think if we play like that and start well, then Borough won't live with us. But I would, if I had to put my neck on the line, I'll give you 2-0. And I think a clean sheet comes back and Leicester take the win.
Rightio, pal. Jamie, it's been much appreciated. I've got some other fans waiting to come on. Much appreciated for your time and your effort speaking about Leicester at this early time on a Sunday morning with me. And hopefully we won't have a bit of a rant next Saturday night after the game again.
I'll look forward to it. Always like a little bit of a debate, mate, as you know. So
just remember, I get a bit emotional after the game, so take some time to think about it.
I won't say what I said at full time because it's not allowed to be repeated. But so I can't blame you.
That's a little bit.
Thank you very much for having me on.
No problem, Jamie. We shall speak to you later, pal. Thanks a lot, Jamie. There's Jamie Thorpe, big Leicester fan. Cheers, pal. Let's bring some others on. Let's bring one of the Leeds United's most hated away fan. Locks, how the devil are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm just going to bring in the other two. Has anybody been in touch with you yet, Locks, from the Leeds channels?
Oh, yeah, loads, mate. But the thing is, we're 11 points clear of them. So what have they got to talk about? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, that is the thing. Although Reedy's maths was a bit shocking this morning. When I asked him, he said it's only 9 points. I said, no, it's 11 points.
It is what it is, isn't it?
14
it's 8
minus 3 was 9.
It's 8 if they beat us next time. So
yeah. Jono, how are you, pal?
Yeah, all good.
What did you think to Friday night then?
Just Leeds just wanted it more. I said last week that I thought we were going to lose this, not because I thought we were going to be poor, but we started to get a bit complacent. And if you think about it, maybe hopefully this loss would kick their arse into gear and think we can't play just think, well, we're going to win every game. We have to play well every game because teams like Leeds will beat us if we don't, get into our A game. So it's a chance for Enzo and the players to realise that actually this league isn't going to be a walkover as we thought it was going to be. So hopefully it sticks with them.
Locks, just one thing. I'm just going to put you on full screen a minute. What's that in the background? Who's that a picture of in the background over your shoulder?
It's the GOAT, mate. It's the GOAT. It's Lionel Messi, mate.
Right.
I wouldn't call him the GOAT, but
it's the GOAT.
I couldn't work out who it was.
Yeah. Messi, mate. Some people thought it was Jesus the other day, which, but no, I'm not religious, but yeah, Messi.
But me and Jamie have talked about Leeds game a lot. We'll go straight on to the Middlesbrough game. What do you think, lads? What do you think? Reedy, we'll start with you about the Middlesbrough game next Saturday. Are you going?
I am going, yeah.
That's going to be an early start for you, isn't it?
About 9:10, I think.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No. Do you know what? It's difficult because after the Leeds game and because of the form that Middlesbrough are in, after the whole game, I wasn't too worried because I felt like we could easily get back and get a winning way again. But with how Middlesbrough are doing now, I'm worried because we've just lost. So I don't know if we'll go there and get the win. Again, a draw's good enough, but we want to get back to winning ways, and I hope we do. But I am worried that because of the loss we've just had, it might take an effect on us in a way, in my opinion, anyway.
Locks, you think we've got something to prove, losing to Leeds and going up Middlesbrough and beating them?
Well, the only other game we've lost this season, obviously, we had to wait 2 weeks, didn't we, to put it right because the international break after Hull. But now we've only got 8 days or whatever it is, 7-8 days to wait to put it right. And I've got no worries at all, mate. I just think we the last game we lost, we then went on and won 9 in a row, and I think it'll be something similar this time round. Again, as I've said every week, I think we're too good for this league. It was a close game, in my opinion, with Leeds. They did deserve to win it overall, over the whole 90 minutes, I would say. The first half was even, I think. But yeah, I think we are going to, and even me, I said, you can go back, I've said it. I said we will lose a few games. But I still think we'll absolutely steamroll the league by the end of it. I think we'll still break the points record. I've got no concerns over that. Leeds did want it more because I think it's because they needed it more, right? Leeds needed it more because
they had to win.
Yeah, they had to win, whereas we didn't.
After the game, it looked like they won the league, didn't it?
Yeah, and I get it. There's some celebration police out there, and I'm not a big fan of it. I get people saying, "Oh, calm down," but like for them, it's a big win. It's a massive win because all Leeds fans have heard all season is Leicester are the best team in the league, and Leicester are the best team that's ever been in the league, and obviously all the media obviously have been saying, talking about will Leicester break records and all of this. And so I get why beating Leicester, because you got to think, we said before the season, right? We're like the Man City of the Championship. That's what we said, right? So if a Sheffield United or even like a Newcastle went and beat Man City at the Etihad, yeah, if they went and beat Man City at the Etihad, they'd be celebrating like they won the league, and fair play. So I get it. I think it just shows, Jamie, how good we've been this year and how good we are that they're celebrating that much against us. And I ain't got a problem with it. So,
but if you look at Ipswich, they drew, didn't they?
Hold on, John. Just one thing. Andy Sheba, my geography's not burnt. I haven't lived in England for the last 19 years. Lost to 2 Yorkshire teams, so let's beat another 2. Middlesbrough and Sheff Wednesday. I'm sure Middlesbrough is more northeast than it is Yorkshire.
It is. Middlesbrough's northeast.
Yeah, I think Andrew's made a bit of a schoolboy error there. I think you better go to geography lessons.
Yeah, Middlesbrough.
He ain't got a clue where Wrexham is, so.
Yeah.
Go on, John. I'm sorry. My geography then. I was thinking, surely
that's all right. But if you look at Ipswich, they drew against Birmingham yesterday. Like, that's a big up for us because that's taking a bit of pressure off it. Because if Ipswich beat Rotherham on Tuesday, or wherever they're playing them, they can no longer jump us. So,
apparently Middlesbrough is in North Yorkshire. Apparently, it's classed as North Yorkshire.
No, it's not.
It's classed.
No.
It's classed. I've just had a look.
Middlesbrough's northeast.
Yeah, but if it's classed as in Yorkshire, it's still Yorkshire.
Oh, come on!
Wow, I never in a million years would have thought that.
But Leeds needed this to stay in the fight for second place.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Southampton are only 1 point behind them, so is West Brom. So it's a tight for second place. They needed that, and it just shows that they need to fight to stay in that race. But
I said after the game that as much as we are still 11 points clear, it doesn't matter that Leeds beat Leicester because down the line they'll lose to another Stoke or something. So they're just going to lose the 3 points either way because they beat us. that in that way, you just can't look at it as that disappointing loss, because I wasn't coming out the ground disappointed. I was just like, it is what it is.
But we need to win the next game. We can't get complacent.
We conceded to a scrappy goal. It wasn't even a good goal. We just
No, it wasn't. A great save.
goal, and it is what it is. And like I said, we move on to Middlesbrough now, and we have to win. But I don't think Cassidy has to start. He's been absolutely, like, I'm not going to say he's awful, but he doesn't look great at all. I'd rather have someone like McAteer in that central role with Dewsbury Hall, or even put Ricardo up there a bit higher, because he's got better passing than probably both our number 8s, in my opinion. Not Winks, but the other two in Dewsbury Hall and Cassidy. Ricardo Pereira's got better passing than both of them. So we've got to get someone who's a bit more clinical up front with the passing. So, and that's why he said
we're not making. Yeah, we need, like I was saying to Jamie, we need a number 10.
Yeah, we need someone who knows how to put that ball through the middle.
We're relying on the wingers too much. But what I was just going to say, the Christmas period game is going to be very interesting. So I don't know whether you know, the 23rd of December, Leeds have got Ipswich. 26th of December, we have got Ipswich.
Yeah.
That's going to be very interesting.
They need to draw and we need to win.
I know Christmas is a long way away, but it comes around very quickly, doesn't it? Just before we go, Locks, scoreline next week. I know we always say the scoreline. It's a bit early now for the scoreline, but early predictions for the Middlesbrough game.
2-0, Leicester, yeah.
It's like so not concerned.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I just think, to be honest, mate, there's not really much for me to say. The only two teams that I think we would struggle against are Leeds and Ipswich. I know we struggle against Hull, obviously, but they're the only two teams I'm concerned about, because they're the only two teams that have proved that they're good. They're really good. The other teams are just a bit of hit and miss, I think. So Ipswich, look, I think just touching on what you said about Christmas period, I think they'll go, or because they'll have to rest some players in one of the games. I think they'll rest the players against us. I think they'll go full strength against Leeds, because I'm sorry, but Leeds are fighting with Ipswich. Leeds aren't fighting with us. They're not a concern. No one's a concern. We're going to win the league. It's Leeds and Ipswich fighting out for second place. They ain't.
Reedy, why can't you be this positive, Reedy?
I'm not. If I'm totally honest,
I'm a pessimist. That's what I am.
If I'm totally honest, I'm not. Like, I don't know. In my eyes, I think Locks is just blindsided to see it's top and that's it. Whereas I'm like, there is a chance that someone can come and compete with us.
Tell you what, though,
I'm not. Honestly, right? In my head, I'm not even. I said this the other day. I'm not thinking about winning the league. I'm only thinking about the points record. Like, I'm being serious. I don't see anyone that beats us to the league, because I just think. I still think Ipswich will drop off. I'm not saying they'll finish, below third. They might finish third, but I don't think they'll win. They'll carry on winning the amount of games that they are. And I think Leeds will drop more points than we are, than we will. And they're already 11 points behind us. They can beat us again, and they're still 8 points behind us. And it's like, as long as it's in our hands, and I trust us to see it out. I know that's obviously not been the case.
You just got to make sure you bounce back against Borough. You've got
to. I honestly think we'll probably win 9 games in a row again. I really do. But yeah, that's it.
Well, on that positive
2-0.
note,
2-0 Leicester against
2-0. Locks, cheers for that, pal. On that positive note, Locks is going for another 9-game winning streak, starting with a 2-0 victory at Borough away.
Yes, mate. And now I'm off for some breakfast at Centro Lounge in Loughborough. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, you having a big
I might come and join you, mate.
Yeah, mate. I don't know. I haven't been to Central Lounge before, so I'm guessing they do a full English. So if they do, I'll probably
if
have
anyone
that.
Sees Locks in Loughborough, buy him
yeah.
something to eat or drink while he's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But no egging. No egging. Don't throw any eggs at him.
Unless you're a Leeds fan.
See you later, Locks.
All right, mate.
Jono, prediction next week, scoreline.
2-1 Leicester.
2-1 Leicester.
Like last week, I was a bit uncertain about beating Leeds. My judgment was correct. I did say we're most likely going to lose, which we did, but Middlesbrough, I can see is winning 2-1. I just feel bad for Reedy, because even last season, Reedy was positive. Brendan has sucked the life out of Reedy. You can physically see it. Like, even last season, you're positive. You're like, oh, we're going to be fine. And then all of a sudden you become Mr. Negative. So
It's not negative at all. I'm just trying to be.
Oh, yes.
No,
I'm just being. I'm just
it's
being
not.
careful because if we, like I say, I wasn't like confident we were going to beat Leeds, and we didn't. I'm saying that we've just got to make sure we don't let this affect us.
No, we've got to beat Middlesbrough. People think, oh, it's still 11 points clear, it's fine.
Because anything can happen. If we lose to Middlesbrough and then start losing games back to back, that's where the points are going to get closer.
Yeah, we need to beat.
We need to keep that gap.
But
Jono, I've got to stick up for Reedy here. Reedy's not been as negative as he was positive last year. He hasn't gone the full spectrum.
No, he hasn't. No,
he's not gone the full different. He's not got the swung's not gone 180 degrees. But
I'm just being careful with what we say.
I want to be careful. Like I love Lox's positivity, but I think we need be a bit careful and just take it game by game. As long as we got more than a 10-point gap for me, I'm happy.
Yeah, with 3 games to go, 10-point gap, I'll be quite happy with that.
Yeah.
Jono, so you said 2-1 then. All right, then, Jono.
Drop Cassidy.
We shall see you later, pal. Be good.
See you later.
Reedy, another show's done. For Middlesbrough next week, what do you think, pal? A long trip up there, a full bus, falling asleep, drinking, shaving people's eyebrows off while you're asleep. You've got to be careful of that, ain't you? What do you think?
I want to be confident, but I think we're gonna go 2-1. I think they're gonna go ahead 1-0, but we'll come back and win.
Hold on, 2-1 which way? Because you don't sound confident at all.
2-1 Leicester, but I think they'll score first.
Right. You didn't sound confident at all.
I think they'll score first.
I would take a draw up there. I would take a draw.
Well, the way they're playing, they're no mugs. Like I say, they were in form all season last year. Yes, they had an awful start this year. But where are they now before I quickly go?
They're about 12th, I think. 11th or 12th.
Middlesbrough, form-wise as well, once it starts loading up. Because I think there are quite a few games in a row. Yeah. They won 3 in a row, then lost to Stoke, and then drew to Plymouth. So they're very here and there, but they have won 6 games. So it is what it is. Like I say, we've won 13, but
I forgot while the others were on. I forgot to say something. You know, Perez scored for Real Betis against Mallorca last night. Don't know whether you know, just a little bit of just because it's Mallorca based. Yeah, I was quite surprised when I saw him score. He's doing quite well, but it's another player that's left us. He needed to go.
Everyone seems to go from us and starts doing well.
Well, look at Harry Kane. I think he scored 16 in 10 games for Bayern Munich, and he's steamrolling that league with goals, isn't he? But that's another one. So, Reedy, you went for what? 2-1, yeah?
2-1, yeah.
2-1. I'm not quite as positive as you. Like, I'm still coming away. I don't think we'll lose. I think we'll have a draw. I'm going for my old favourite of Desmond.
You just got to make sure you don't let this game affect, because again, you don't want the points gap to start decreasing and getting to a couple points away. Because, like I said, then you'll start to stop. Then it will feel like you're battling. You don't want to be battling. You want to be clear and just, even if you lose a game, you're like, okay, we've still got time to bring it back.
Yeah. Rightio, pal. Oh, do Ipswich play their game in midweek then? Their game in hand?
Yeah, because their game got cancelled against.
Oh, they've got their game. That's against Rotherham, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, Rotherham's got cancelled because of the floods and whatnot.
Yeah. Right. Oh, maybe jump then. The old dog, maybe jump. Rightio then, Reedy. I shall see you later. Be good.
No worries. See you in a bit.
See you later, pal. Jamie, have I ever been right with your 2-2? I think on one occasion, of all the years I've been saying 2-2, I think it's been one occasion I've got it right. But you never know. We might get it right one day. Hopefully it's this week and we don't lose. But anyway, it's been much appreciated once again for all you people coming out to see us. Getting up early to come and watch us. Over the next few weeks, I've got a couple of special guests lined up. I'm not going to let you know just yet, but I have got a couple of special guests lined up. Just got to get the date sorted, and you'll really enjoy them, what they're having. But overall, Friday night, width of the crossbar, last-minute save, static set-piece defending. Cost us, was it a draw or was it a win? Ciao, adios, goodbye, arrivederci. Come on, Leicester.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, Everodds, Barlow Blinds, Booker Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hologram, Take Me, Nubian Co, The Foxes Arms and Rainbows. Run by the fans, for the fans. Follow us on socials at Leicester Fan TV and visit leicesterfantv.com for all the latest news, views and videos.